Dante, how's everything going?
Everything's going well. How about you?
Everything's going well for me, but everything's not going well for the NBA.
I know you fucking lying.
The NBA's viewership and the NBA's ratings are in the tank. The NBA is slowly dying.
Yeah, it's a damn shame.
So the current state of the NBA, the players are making more money, the franchises are more valuable, the owners are making more money, but the style of play, all the three-pointers, the lack of a mid-range game, it just makes it hard to watch. What do you think when you're watching these NBA games?
I believe more so it's just getting bland by this point, and it's just also frustrating to see all these NBA players just chucking up threes,
Yeah.
like these logo bombs that they just be just throwing up. Like, hey, if it works, it works, and it don't. If it don't, it don't. But it's just by this point, it's like same script, different day kind of thing.
Yeah, everyone's playing a similar style, and the problem is you have non-shooters shooting threes, right? And it just looks bad. I think overall, visually as fans, it isn't something that's very appealing to watch. Every game, you could look at the Suns and the Timberwolves, or you could look at Miami versus Cleveland. They're all launching threes. Although that's not the main reason, but I think it's definitely a large part that the ability to view the game is not very good. So with that being said, this week, Gil's Arena touched on the NBA ratings, and even somewhat of the value of the franchises, but also the 520 podcast with Jeff Teague also talked about it, but they talked about it from two different perspectives. We're going to take a look at the perspective of Gil's Arena and the perspective of the 520 podcast. So here we go.
All right.
So at number 5, we got the Los Angeles Clippers at $5.68 billion.
Going up.
Yeah, Brooklyn Nets are fourth at $5.7 billion. Lakers are third at $8.07 billion. Knicks are second at $8.3 billion, and the Warriors top the list at $9.14 billion. God damn.
Wow.
So Warriors are the second most valuable sports team in the United States, trailing only the Dallas Cowboys, who are worth $10.3 billion. The average NBA team is worth $4.6 billion, a 15% rise from last year, and nearly double the worth from 4 years ago. So there's a lot of talk about ratings and such, but what do these NBA franchise valuations tell you about the state of the league?
The people who know the business of basketball know that the NBA is fine.
The rich are getting richer, as they say.
The reflection of how they play is showing that the product definitely needs a revamping. And we talk about it all the time. We're as critical as anybody can be towards the players. But at some point, we got to look at the whole league and how we're going to revamp viewership and all the other things that are taking a big hit. So I don't think there's one way to tackle it. I think everybody got to kind of come together and figure out some way to at least start the plan.
Business as well is what that says.
Well, I don't care what people are reporting about views and all this goofy shit they're trying to switch narratives.
Yeah,
Obviously, something's going in the right direction if the money's going up for these players and the franchises are skyrocketing. So whatever views you are portraying to us is probably not the views that these guys are using to keep getting these deals. It just, because we're talking about in the last 10 years, these teams have times 4 for the most part.
Yeah,
so
with their valuation.
I don't want to hear about no stat y'all talking about the TV shit. Like, we ain't stupid. We know there's no NBA game that's fucking free. We gotta buy it. This ain't NFL. NFL at least give you some free shit. NBA ain't giving you nothing free. You gotta have a package. Or you gotta find some free website that's doing something. You gotta find it somewhere. It ain't easy anymore, right? So there's reasons that views is down on this platform. They're down on this platform. They're up on these platforms. It's just in a different way.
The crew at Gil's Arena, they talked about the business of basketball, right? They talked about the value of the franchises, the TV deals that the NBA has struck, these lucrative TV deals. And that's what I was alluding to before, is that the business of basketball is just phenomenal. I believe Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have signed $300 million deals in excess of that. And Rashad touched on it a little bit, talking about revamping the game.
Right. Yeah. Because, revamping basketball, yeah, that would get the viewers to tune in a little bit more because it's like
Mhm.
actual basketball, just like how 10 years ago when it was like Miami and the Spurs and like everyone
Mhm.
was so excited about like Greg Popovich, like actually, and the whole team when they were actually playing basketball. But now, I mean, everyone's just watching the same thing happen over and over again. Yeah, the business side of basketball, like there's really no problem. And I'm pretty sure many other NBA players would say the same thing because all
Mhm.
these big contracts are just going through the roof. It's
Yeah.
just out there and it's pretty obvious. That is no problem.
Mhm.
And also, I believe that Mark Cuban also sold like around 70, a little over 70% of his franchise to the Adelson family for like $3.5 billion in 2023,
Mhm.
which is like a clear case that the business side is just really not a problem at all.
Exactly. And on top of that, the Phoenix Suns, they were recently sold to Matt Ishbia for, I believe it was around $4 billion, and that was in 2023. What else? Golden State recently finished construction on their new arena, which cost probably about $1.4 billion. So the business of basketball is booming. Ratings might be down, but the business they are doing just fine with their TV deals and all their partnerships. They are doing just fine. So this is about, I'd love to be an investor in basketball as well as the owners are doing. But with that being said, the 520 podcast, they took a different spin on this. And we're going to take a look at that now.
All right.
A lot of smut, you know what I'm saying, talking about the viewership of the game, quote unquote, being watered down or being bad product. Do you think the league needs to probably pivot more into pushing more of team rather than stars? Because they tried to do the Euro push and it seems like it's not really translating for them. Should they focus more about the team and build the teams back up?
Yeah, I think the better the teams, the better the product. Like if you got a bunch of good teams, like that year when everybody had, it was like a wide open year. I don't remember who won it, but we didn't know who was the best team. Even like when I was in the league and we had the Atlanta, we went on our little run.
Yeah.
We had Atlanta popping, and it was like, okay, we can watch the Atlanta Hawks. We could put the Atlanta Hawks on TV because they're a good team. We know they're gonna have a good game.
That's a fact.
Like we can watch them. Like I think that's good for the game. Like right now, Washington was on a NBA game, and it was mainstream, whatever you want to say, a national televised game. Nobody will watch it
That's true.
because they know the product gonna be bad. And it's a bunch of teams like that now. Like
It is, bro.
For sure. And then they're kind of like a little bit of a pushback I've been seeing is what it's just like, okay, well, the NBA should be happy because you're getting these smaller market teams that's having great seasons, but you're not pushing them enough. Like OKC's been solid for 2 years. They're not getting pushed, quote unquote, enough. But some of these other small market teams, they have young, like you have to put them in a light. But I'm like, that's kind of tough as well because, people want to see what they want to see.
yeah, but like some of them low market teams got stars. Like SGA is a star, Chet is a star. We want to see them.
Most definitely.
NBA just doing a bad job not putting them on TV.
It's just
Okay, let me stop it right there for 1 second just to address the small market teams. Yes, and from like an NBA fan's perspective, right? Yes, the small market teams are good and they are not on TV enough, but that's part of the business of basketball, right? They have these TV deals which restrict which games are on, which games or which teams people want to see, and people want to see the Lakers, they want to see the Lakers. You know what I mean? It's just like people want to view in and tune in and see what they want to see. And I don't know if they want to see Oklahoma City play without just like a mega superstar on the team.
See, okay, as you say that, would that now be like the viewership problem? People want to see the Lakers rather than seeing OKC.
Mhm.
Now, would that be like the viewer in itself problem, not really the NBA? If they try to push out OKC and no one's watching, then they're going to be
Mhm.
like, well, all right, go back to the Lakers or Dallas or like
Yeah.
anybody else. Like, would
Yeah.
that yeah, I would say, would that be more of the viewer's problem?
Yeah. And that's what the NBA uniquely understands is that they can't put Oklahoma City on. They can't put San Antonio on 40 times a year. They can't do that. Nobody wants to see that, but that's part of the problem with having a small market team and not having like a mega superstar. And the NBA, they're just in this version of the NBA, they're doing a bad job. It's like Steph, KD, LeBron. Those are the main stars. And even somebody like Ant Edwards, somebody like LaMelo Ball, small teams, they're in these small markets. It's good, but nobody wants to see them. That's ultimately the issue. Even Dallas would, Kyrie and Luca. Is that what you really want to watch? Not really.
Would it be a bias thing in a way? Because
Not
it's
really
like,
biased. It's competition. Like, right? It's like who wants to see, unless you have a mega star like LeBron, KD, or Steph, right?
Right.
Who else is it? Is Luca a star? Sure, he's a star, but most people haven't even heard Luca speak before. So how much are you going to align? Like, you have to align with a star, right? In order to want to see them or watch them. And do you really align with Jokic? Do you really align with Embiid? Do you really align with Jimmy Butler? Like, these are these aging stars, like Cade Cunningham in Detroit. He's excellent, but he's in Detroit. Like, nobody's paying attention. You have these bottom feeder teams that haven't been successful. Then when they, or haven't been good, then when they become good, nobody wants to watch them. Milwaukee, right? But Giannis and Dame. But it's like if they're not really, really good and they're not really putting on a great performance, you're not tuning in. The games are hard to find because of the TV packages. But this is the game of basketball, and that's definitely, we're talking about the marketing of it. The marketing of it ultimately is what's hurting the game of basketball, but the style of basketball is also hurting it.
So it really just all comes in full circle. It's just like the viewership just want to see the superstars play, and then NBA, reacts to it like, hey, all right, here you go. But we got all these packages that you had to get first, and then I get what you mean.
Super expensive, super hard to find,
Mhm.
and on a random Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night, it's so hard to find that you can't eat. It's not even worth searching for.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what else they got to say.
Marketing.
Yeah.
That's all. I think the players, the teams are there. You just got to highlight some of those smaller market teams is there. They're some of the better teams
But
in the league right now.
some of them small market teams are ass though. Like Spurs, even though they got Wemby, and like Wemby's always on TV, people want to see him. But when they do see him, it's like a terrible game.
Yeah,
they rarely have games where it's like, oh my God, this was an amazing game to watch. It's like,
yeah, we don't want to see Toronto versus the Wizards.
Never.
Bad.
And that's like
TNT at the end of the night.
Like that first Christmas game is New York versus Spurs. Like, unless Wemby comes out and has a historic game, bro, it's gonna be built to ass. I'm gonna go back to fucking eating pie and shit. I ain't about to watch this game.
But I would have liked to see Giannis, and I mean, I've seen it before. They played on Christmas Day before, but like to not have Milwaukee with 2 top 75 players not to play on Christmas is crazy.
Yeah, and also at the same token, it's just like, okay, they made this tournament, so hopefully that some of those teams that didn't get exposure got the exposure, but I'm like, you still have to push them like throughout the year. Like, it's hard enough, we already talked about this before, for just to watch a local team, bro. So if you already got a small market team that's overachieving, quote unquote, bro, you have to push the hell out of them.
So the 520 podcast, essentially they were saying is that the marketing of these small teams that are doing better is terrible. It's poor. So in one instance, the NBA has gotten the business right with all these TV packages, which then contributes to the large salaries, but the marketing is terrible. When was the last time you saw an NBA commercial on social media? Right? Not even, because it's like you got to watch TV to see the commercial to know when the games are coming on. Like, they should be advertising on social media. They should be, taking out ads on these various, social media, YouTube,
Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all that. Like,
yeah,
YouTube Sports.
Yeah, exactly. They should be advertising on there heavily, because if most people right now, because your generation, you're not watching TV and they're advertising on TV, you're never going to know. I couldn't even tell you when the schedule of NBA games are playing. I couldn't even tell you. I have no idea. Sometimes I turn on the TV and I go and I say, okay, I go to, a game's on tonight. Actually, the game's on tomorrow. And I never check back in.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. Because it's just like you more so just have to stumble upon like, oh, it's on. Well, might as well go ahead and watch it. Oh, well, it's not really that good, so I'm tuning out, kind of thing. It's just
there you go.
Yeah,
you're exactly right. Go ahead.
Yeah, and also when they said like the small market teams, like they're not good, and he has a point. But the ones that are good, like the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're number one in the Eastern Conference, and no one's really tuning in, or they're not even being pushed out. So I guarantee you, if LeBron was still in the Cavaliers and they were number one, then everyone would have known about that.
Yeah.
But I guess Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, and Darius Garland is just not necessarily enough. But even though they're balling out, so it's a shame that it really comes to that.
Yeah, it's the marketing, as they said, as they said in the Club 520. It's just the marketing. They're not pushing these small teams, so therefore people don't know about these stars in these small markets, and they're just depending too heavily on the KDs, the LeBrons, and the Stephs. And they're getting older, so they're not transitioning into the younger athletes, into the Cade Cunningham, the Ant Edwards, the LaMelo Ball. I mean, those teams aren't playing as well, but also it's not only the players' fault. These GMs, they're trading players like trading cards. Like one player's here. I think D'Angelo Russell just got traded, and he got traded back to Brooklyn. It's just like they're moving people so quickly. You don't get a chance to align with anybody. I think, what has KD been on? 4 different teams. I think LeBron's been on 3 teams, I believe. I mean, Steph has been with 1 team. Even Clay is on his 2nd team. Draymond's been with 1 team. But you can't really align with these players like that, because in an instance, they're going to be gone, traded to another team. And now it's just like you probably couldn't even identify most of the stars on some of these teams because, number one, they're not recognizable. And number 2, they'll be gone tomorrow, going to a different team.
Yeah, and it's a shame, even also with the up and coming players as well. Unless it's someone like Jalen Green, or someone that's they're definitely not gonna touch on at all, like Jalen Green, Anthony Edwards, LaMelo, because I don't think the GMs would ever even think about touching. You think so?
KD got traded.
Did he request for it, or no? He just got traded.
Requested it. Yeah, I mean, most play. Okay, so Ant Edwards, he's not happy in Minnesota, so he requested trade. He's still being traded. LaMelo's not happy in Charlotte. He wants a bigger market. He's still getting, whether they request it or not, they're still being traded.
Yeah, true.
Miami's looking to move off of Jimmy Butler. They're not going to give up Jimmy. They're not going to give up Jimmy Butler for 2 second-round draft picks. They want to get something back in return. I mean, Tyler Hero, his game hasn't really materialized to what people thought it was going to be. So it's just the NBA, the marketing. I'll agree with the Club 520 podcast. The marketing of the NBA, for all the business acumen, the marketing has been awful.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. So with that being said, NBA's declining ratings are accurate. It's just the game isn't very watchable. It's like cookie cutter. Everybody's jacking up 53s a game. It's either a layup, dunk, or a 3. There's no mid range. There's nobody in the post move. Back in the day with Hakeem Olajuwon and Patrick Ewing and things like that. That whole mid-range game is gone.
No. You're right. It's gone, or it's just very rare. Because I know there's this one Grizzly center. He's not getting the recognition, but he's a very old school kind of center, and he's doing pretty well for his position.
You mean Zach Edey, the rookie?
Yeah,
he's a rookie,
but he's doing pretty good. Is he not?
Not that he's not doing good, but he's the low post player.
Yeah, but all right,
he's a rookie and he's a low post player. Not like Wemby. Wemby's 7'3", and I think the other night he shot 16 threes.
Yeah, but no, that's what I'm saying. It's Zach is he's a post player and he's sticking to that. But whereas Wemby, he could have been a post player. He could have been literally the next up and coming Shaq. He could have just been doing whatever he wanted down the post.
Yeah.
But no, he's just jacking up threes. It's just it gives off the Kevin Durant kind of road, but you're 7'3", so it's just.
I wouldn't put him. He doesn't have the skill of KD. KD, rookie KD, OKC KD, Seattle KD. Wemby's not in that class. He's not the KD at Texas KD. Wemby ain't it. That ain't it. That Wemby is nowhere near as skilled as KD was coming out of Texas at all. No.
It's not saying that he's skilled like him. It's just more so him just shooting and not necessarily going down the post, do these post moves, and then just do my thing real quick and then show my dominance in with my height.
Yeah.
But it's shown it in a different way.
Yeah, but that's the game of basketball. I mean, what is it? The high screen and roll, drive, kick to the corner. Everybody does the same thing.
Yeah.
And just to kind of put a wrap on it, comment below if you have any suggestions on how the NBA can improve, because as NBA fans and not necessarily diehards anymore, they need to improve this product. But the business is booming, but I don't want to watch it. It's just that simple.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's less and less diehard fans.
So with that being said, NBA, y'all got to get this together. Bring me in as a consultant. I could help fix the NBA. So Airs on air, y'all. We out.